Well, let's stay with our top story, the appointment of a new leader of Al-Qaeda. Michael Hurley is a former CIA officer who served in Afghanistan just after the September the 11th attacks and was then a senior member of the 9/11 Commission. He joins us on the line from Minneapolis. Now, Ayman al-Zawahiri is not as charismatic as Osama bin Laden was, but he is said to be very intelligent. So this doesn't really come as a surprise as he's now been appointed as the leader of Al-Qaeda.
No, it isn't a surprise. He was the number two next to Osama bin Laden. He's someone that has been committed to violent extremism really since he was a young boy, very dedicated to this, and is a dangerous man. Nevertheless, he's now inheriting an Al-Qaeda that's very fragmented and is much weaker and much diminished from what it was before.
Well, it took 6 weeks to appoint him. Is that an indication that Al-Qaeda is not operating as efficiently as maybe it once was?
Well, I think that's right. It's decentralized. The decision-making is decentralized. They really can't group together very much. And so these are part of the pressures that the United States and its allies has been trying to put on Al-Qaeda to make it difficult for them to operate. And I think that may be an indication of it.
And do you think we could see the same kind of capture of Ayman al-Zawahiri as we did of Osama bin Laden as a former CIA operative? Do you think the CIA have any clue of his whereabouts?
Well, I don't know the current state of what information they may have on him, but I agree with Admiral Mullen that he is a very high priority target. I believe his days will be numbered. He'll be found sooner or later, just like Osama bin Laden was.
And should we be concerned about Al-Qaeda's current situation? Are they in a position to carry out any serious threats?
Well, they're in a weakened position, but they're still lethal and they're still very dangerous. And those that adhere to this ideology will try to carry out some violent attacks. And I'm sure we'll experience some. And that's just kind of the world that we live in now. We'll do our best to stop them. But it's not an existential threat. And it is a weaker organization, although they're still dangerous and lethal.
Now, Ayman al-Zawahiri, he sent his support to the events taking place in the Arab Spring countries, the uprisings there in North Africa as well. Do you think that the people there, they care about what's happening to Al-Qaeda? Just briefly, sir.
In a way, it sounds like to me that Zawahiri is chasing a train that's already left the station. Al-Qaeda really has been irrelevant to these fascinating developments in the Arab Crescent, in the Arab world, and none of the protesters really have had much or anything to do with Al-Qaeda. You don't see Al-Qaeda's name being mentioned, and certainly Al-Qaeda doesn't offer any kind of a positive agenda, which is what the protesters are looking for. They're looking for changes in their economic situation, their job situation, their right to participate in government. Al-Qaeda doesn't represent any of these things, and they've been left far behind.
OK, Michael Hurley, a former CIA officer, good to talk to you. We are now out of time, so thanks for sharing that with us. Well, let's cross over to Rico now with news of Hollywood's efforts to get a slice of China's growing cinema market.